Hi, and welcome to the Rotator Cuff Expert YouTube channel. My name is Dr. Dr Orcutt. In this channel, we talk about all things rotator cuff. The point of my creating this channel is to give education and knowledge and understanding about what it means to have a rotator cuff injury. There's lots and lots of questions from the very beginning to the very end. There's lots of unknowns, and so my job here is to try to educate you, to protect you, and to enable you to get through this surgery and this time of life as easy as possible. We know that rotator cuff surgery and surgeries on the shoulder are not easy, but my job is to try to make it as easy as possible for you. So if you have any questions, any thoughts, please leave them down below. Please subscribe to the channel, YouTube, Rotator Cuff Expert. Also, we have another website that we talk about so a little bit of different things, as well as there's some products and things that you can help you get through your recovery, and that's at the website is myprotector.com. Anyway, thank you so much, and hope you enjoy the next video, and we will talk to you in just a minute. Okay, welcome to the Rotator Cuff Expert. So this is volume 2 or session 2 on the distal clavicle. So last time we talked about what the distal clavicle is, where it is, what the anatomy it is, and why we may or may not address it. So the key thing is, if you have distal clavicle pathology, a problem with the distal clavicle, it may be a radiologic finding, which means the MRI or the X-ray may find it, but we need to make sure that if the X-ray finds it, that we need to confirm that's a problem in real life, as in a physical exam, right? And so again, we talked about for a minute last time, if we press on it, it hurts, then that's fine. If press on it, it doesn't hurt, then we don't care. We don't care what the MRI shows, we don't care what the X-ray shows. So let's say, for example, that now we have an MRI and an X-ray that shows arthritis here or a problem here, and we touch it and it hurts. Okay, so it hurts. So now we know this is part of the issue. It's probably not the only issue, because oftentimes it comes with rotator cuff issues, comes with labral issues, and so it may be just one of the many things that we talk about when we do the shoulder. Now we have to, again, consider all the things, all the pain patterns. So when you're seeing your orthopedic surgeon, when the orthopedic surgeon is looking at you, we are trying to separate all these out to make sure we're doing the right thing for you. Make sure we're addressing the rotator cuff tear, addressing the subacromial impingement. So this is the acromion, right? So subacromial is down here, and sometimes a little spur here, and we'll take that off, and that's called a subacromial decompression, also called SAD, but we'll talk about that in another episode. So that's one thing you can do. So the distal clavicle, the AC joint, can be another thing you do. The biceps and the biceps anchor, the labrum is another thing you do, and then the rotator cuff. Now, this is called the Rotator Cuff Expert because most of the time, what predominates the symptoms is the rotator cuff. Okay, so that's what we're going to really focus on, but there's other things that we may or may not have to deal with, and one of those things is the distal clavicle. We touch the distal clavicle and it hurts. We say, okay, so when we're going to do our surgery, we're going to fix our rotator cuff or whatever, but we also have to address the distal clavicle, because the last thing you want to do is do the rotator cuff repair and the patient not get better, and then you have to go back in again to do something else. When we have a distal clavicle problem, and we're going to talk about this kind of relatively narrow part. There are AC joint separations, and AC joint separations are where the ligaments between these two are separated or disrupted, and then we have some issues with the disruption of the ligaments. And that we'll talk about in another episode. This one, we're going to really talk about a couple things. One is some mild instability, and the other thing is some arthritis. Right, so the AC joint up here doesn't move very much to begin with anyway. It has a little bit of motion when you flex, when you like if you're going to do a bench press or overhead press, it'll move a little bit. It doesn't ever move very much. And as we get older, it moves less and less. And again, oftentimes it can fuse. And once it fuses, it doesn't hurt anyway. But let's say we have some instability, some little injury that we had, and now over time, it's just getting more and more painful. It's not getting better. So that's one time. Also osteolysis, which means loss of bone, right? And so oftentimes the osteolysis, if we have a guy who works out or gal who works out, does a lot of overhead stuff over and over and over again, we can create some damage to that AC joint. So we call osteolysis of the distal clavicle. And so osteolysis can be painful and may need to address that too. So there's really some mild instability that's over time has become more and more painful, osteolysis or osteoarthritis. So those are the three basic reasons why we might do something with the distal clavicle or the AC joint during surgery. So what do we do? Well, we do a distal clavicle excision, or a DCE. Obviously, depending on where you are in the country and where in the world, those initials may change a little bit. But essentially what we do is we take a little bit of the clavicle out. And when we take a little bit of the clavicle out, we take away that pinch point where they're getting together over and over again. The problem with taking a little bit of the clavicle out, it hurts for a while after we take it out. So what we don't want to do, we don't want to do a surgery that's not necessary. And this surgery specifically, it takes, another 10 minutes or so during the surgery when we're doing rotator cuffs or whatever. So it's not really a big deal. It's a big deal to do it right, and there's some techniques and stuff like that surgeons have to know about to make sure they take enough out, not too much out, but enough out, make sure they take all of it out. It's easy to leave a little bit of this up here in the top, and so we have to be very careful and conscientious when doing the distal clavicle excision to make sure we take all of it out. And again, just a certain segment of it. And there's certain techniques which are not important for us to talk about. But anyway, if we do distal clavicle, then once we take that little piece of the clavicle out, we have to wait for that to heal in. And that takes months, right? And so if you're dealing with a shoulder surgery and it's going to take months for it to heal, 3 months, 4 months for it to feel comfortable with you to lay on the shoulder, we as surgeons, we really need to make sure that we're doing the right thing, because we don't want to put you through extra pain and extra suffering, especially because we know we're already probably going to take care of the rotator cuff repair, which is going to be painful in itself. And we don't want to do anything more because we can give stiffness and pain afterwards. What we'll do is take a little bit out, and you're going to see a little picture of an arthroscopic procedure where you'll see the distal clavicle before and after. Those pictures are actually from Windsor Upper Limb, and it's a practice in England, and that's where I get these pictures from. So we can see there's a space when there's, again, no space between the distal clavicle, and then we go in with a little burr and we open up the space, so then there is space. And that space ultimately will fill in with scar tissue, and then it will not be painful. But again, it takes some time. So that's what a distal clavicle excision is. And so I would say in my practice and what I do, it probably occurs maybe 5 to 10% of the time. I will do something with this distal clavicle when I do this subacromial decompression and when I do the rotator cuff repair. So not a lot of times, but I think the most important thing for patients, the patients who get an MRI reading and the MRI reading shows arthritis at the AC joint, that doesn't necessarily mean that we need to do something about it. You really need to be evaluated by your orthopedic surgeon for them to look at you, touch you, talk to you, understand your pain patterns, because oftentimes a distal clavicle excision is not necessary, and if it's done, it's going to cause pain for a long time. So we want to make sure that it absolutely is necessary before we address it. So just because the MRI is abnormal doesn't mean that's something we need to address. So that's really a key point. So talk to your orthopedic surgeon about this and about whether a distal clavicle excision is right for you or is actually wrong for you. Any thoughts, suggestions, I'd appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel. Again, it is YouTube Rotator Cuff Expert, and on the web, our website myprotector.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Good night.